Go do the thing. Okay. Welcome to the Monday Night Men's Forum. I'm Matt from Up Life. I sound like crap because I made a TikTok video that involved a bunch of yelling, and it was for almost nothing. So tonight we're talking about Homestead return on investment. We have Christopher, securecoop.com, who's giving a TED Talk, Grant, Homestead of Pain, Scott, Thrive in the Future, and Alex, the farm engineer. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Hey, Alex, I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, he showed up once, and it was like, that was fun.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, life happened for a little while there, folks. It was pretty fun, though. I managed to avoid layoffs. I managed to avoid marital discord. Now I'm doing both things are doing great. Oh yeah, man. I'm just in the kitchen getting stuff thrown at me. It's all I do. It's all right. Keep dancing.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. I'll give you the advice, right?
Totally kidding.
No,
you do not have to go there.
Okay.
All right. That means he doesn't want to talk about it.
Maybe after.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
No, that's all good.
All right. Let's. It's been like, I don't know, something like 3 weeks.
3 weeks
anymore. Grant's like 3 weeks and 12 minutes. Christopher, personal event, please.
Well, went camping with my boys and had a good time. We started to. There's Jeremy. Hey, man. We started to have a nice shooting trip. You know, like while we're camping, I brought the guns. I just got an AR-15 and I'm out there. I got 2 shots off, and this farmer next door comes running up, shouting and waving his hands. Some of his cows had gotten loose onto the property, and we were shooting in that kind of like in that general direction. We would have seen a cow, but it was also the noise that was spooking him. So he had been putting off fixing his fence, and so that was like the impetus. And he fixed it that day, man. He got it fixed.
Nothing about urgency,
right? And then the other thing is, my wife wanted to start a T-shirt store. So she has opened up a brand new T-shirt store. I set up a website with a shopping cart and all that good stuff. So she does their gardening T-shirts and mostly puns. Like my favorite one is Sage Against the Machine. So the website is blossomingthreads.com.
Nice. I'll expect some sponsorship money here.
Hey.
Sage Against the Machine, like sage, like burning sage, or
like
what,
just the plant.
All right, just asking.
Yeah.
All right, nice.
Yep.
Grant,
I've been busy. Now officially engaged, and these past 2 weekends,
about dang time.
We've been throwing. It's been. It was what 351 days.
How long?
Of what?
Who was counting?
So
of him trying to make up his mind.
we started the stuff up at the farm the past 2 weekends. We've got a lot of land cleared, a lot of progress done. We've cut down several dozen trees. This weekend we're going to be chipping them all. Yeah, I posted all the videos in both Scott's Telegram and then the big Telegram.
Yeah, I muted all those.
Is this the new property that you've been trying to get for so long?
It is. I just found out today. So it's my great grandmother's house that they ended up moving into after her first house burnt down, and it was it was built in like 1885. So however that maths out, this year it's 178 years old. But
so you ended up getting it.
We are officially under contract.
Never mind. Keep going.
So ink hasn't dried, but it should by the end of December.
Well, congrats. Ish.
Nice.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's still that maybe,
Congrats,
but it's
maybe.
like we accepted, basically just accepted the appraisal price. Judge has to approve it. The ad litem has to approve it, and then we should sign like December 31st.
Excellent.
But yeah, I didn't realize that the property was given to her by her father. So it's essentially I will be the 5th generation that has been on the property and
Nice.
farmed it.
Oh, that explains that thread. Because I glanced at it for like 30 seconds earlier. And I was like 5th generation or whatever. And I closed it back out.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. I didn't realize that her father was the one that started everything.
Nice.
All right, let's move across the top. My internet's acting stupid.
That's all good. It's all good.
Go ahead,
Hey guys,
Alex.
Hey guys, this is Alex. Life events, man. It's been crazy. It's been fun. It's been good. I'm getting back into singing lessons again. I do love. What's the use of all this land if I'm not going to make some noise on it? I like singing opera. It gets the sheep back in their pens. Keeps my neighbors off my property. But other than that, man, stuff's been pretty good. I've been making tons of drinks. Here's some homemade limoncello. That was really good. Homemade gin and tonic, homemade ginger beer. So I'm having my own Moscow mules. So I'm a degenerate alcoholic now. Save my marriage. I'm kidding. It's easier than you think, man. So I've been having a great time.
The key to life is just getting drunk.
I mean, I'm buying a still later this year, so I'm going to find out. I mean, it might be the key to death. We'll see. I think you need to buy a side-by-side for that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So where are you located?
Tennessee. Free State in the Union.
Not far away.
Allegedly.
It's here. The cops don't show up where I am. They're too scared of getting shot at.
Because of the singing?
Do it? Oh well, no, it's because the meth head neighbor that's 2 doors down. That's why.
Sounds like a great neighbor if he keeps cops away. I don't know.
Yeah.
You should just buy a little off of him just to like help support him. You know, like small business. Like,
I'm gonna start a crowdfunder for him to get an even bigger Confederate flag. Is what I'm gonna do.
dude, do it.
Yeah, we'll paint the metal roof on top of his house. But no,
yes, that's what I'm talking about.
See it from space.
See it from space.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, congrats. I don't have anything to cheers you with or whatever I'm congratulating you with, but yeah. All right. Josiah, this episode's about you, so thanks for being here.
It's not really about me, right? Just about a random tweet. It's actually about that group.
Oh, that was your tweet. Ah.
Yeah.
That's him. He's the guy.
That's me. I felt bad, so I'm kind of ignoring. I'm ignoring my real friends, my real life friends. And,
hey, you should be out there. You should be hunting. It's rifle season.
It's dark. It's dark.
But at least you've joined us to be able to defend yourself.
That's right. No, all I've been doing is hunting. Basically, I've had the last week and a half off, so I've just been out hunting.
Nice. You're spoiled. You know that?
I do. I'm in a race with my boss to see who can take the most time off this year. So
who's winning?
She's winning by 2 days right now.
Oh man,
that's how it goes.
Well, time off. Yeah, help somebody else hunt. I don't know. Get sick.
I'm not very far away from you.
I told y'all. I told you. I'll have to have some kind of entry and. Let some of my mutuals come out here and see if I can't get them on a deer.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
What's the out of state license cost?
It's cheap here, man. Missouri's ridiculous. I wish they would increase prices. It's like $2.90 or something.
Yep. Not bad at all.
No, it's over the counter. Like Iowa, you have to get drawn.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas, I think it's a lot more than that for Kansas. Arkansas, Missouri are cheap though for out of state.
I don't know. I'd pay $290 to sit in a tree stand or deer blind with you.
There you go. Well, if you're wandering through Missouri in September through January, make it happen.
Where I am now, I ain't walking back.
That's true.
Where are you now?
Louisiana.
I'm
an hour and a half.
You could be worse. You could be in Louisiana at a worse time for sure. Like summer.
Oh yeah, well,
it
ain't great now.
Wait, what is it? Like 80s?
I don't know. I just got here today.
And then you're going. They're sending you home early tomorrow.
Yeah, they're sending me home early. They're having problems on the rig, but that's not for this.
Okay,
we can talk about that later. Thank you, Josiah, for being here. Jeremy, go ahead.
Personal event. Mine's not good. My dad is in the hospital today. ER, ICU.
All right.
Yeah, he had a stroke in 2012, and his health has obviously gone downhill since. And I mean, you don't fully recover from a stroke typically.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And last couple of days he's been off, and today they admitted him. But they took him to the ER just as a precautionary, and to get fluids in him just as precaution. And then I get a text that, oh, hey, they're admitting him to the ICU and they've intubated him. Like, that's pretty severe. Doctor says he'll pull through, should pull through. That he's critical, but he doesn't see any reason why he wouldn't pull through this, which I don't know, man. Like, he's been in this situation twice before, and both times before the doctors are like, man, he's bad. I don't know if he's going to make it. He pulled through like a champ. And then I'm just sitting there thinking, man, this would be the one that they're like, yeah, he'll pull through, and he won't.
Sure.
Like, that's what's in the back of my mind. But anyway, it's been kind of a rough day hearing kind of some of that. But other news, we got our property set up for to go hunt. So that'll be fun. This will be the first year that we've hunted that property. So that's fun.
Nice.
So yeah.
Are you like just whitetail or
just
what?
Whitetail. Yeah, just whitetail.
What are you using to hunt? Josiah, what are you using to hunt?
I have a Ruger American rifle in 6.5 Creedmoor.
Oh, that's what I want.
Nice.
That's nice.
Jeremy, what do you got?
Crossbow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Walking Dead style.
Another thing that I want.
I got the I'm playing with the lighted Nox right now.
Oh man,
Those are fun.
they're cool.
They're just fun to sit here and play with. I don't know. It's like a fidget toy on my desk.
Yep.
It's like, ooh,
But,
light, shining light. Nice.
Yeah, that's it.
Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah. Thanks
Scott,
for having me.
Been a while.
Yeah. So just past 2 years on the podcast, had Christopher on this week, and sold over 50 trees with my side hustle, Grow Nut Trees. So it's been a good year.
GrowNutTrees.com.
GrowNutTrees.com.
Destiny found your podcast on Spotify, so she binged all the ones that I was in today, and said she wants to start growing fruit trees now.
All right.
Or nut trees.
Yeah, we were talking about hunting, and you go out, you get there way, way, way before light. I'm sitting in the tree stand, and then the horde comes through. It's like shooting lightning, bang, bang, crash, crash.
Hunting this year hasn't been good to you, though, Scott. Sounds like you haven't gotten anything.
I haven't seen any deer since October 7th.
When's opener? October 8th?
Yeah.
No, that was the first weekend I went out, but it opens September 15th, but it was too hot. It's been real hot, and the deer are already all confused during the rut. So it should be peak rut right now, and I haven't seen any deer at all.
Weird.
Too many bumpkins out in the woods.
What do you use to shoot?
I use a crossbow.
Nice.
Yeah, our rifle season is until December.
Oh.
Missouri again is spoiled because we get rut season or rut time. We get rifle.
I know, that's
So
crazy good.
Yeah, so we get a little spoiled. It means it's easier to kill the bucks, so we don't get quite as big as Kansas, but we still got some big deer.
Yeah,
they're out there.
3 weeks ago, I had a 10-point that I was right there, less than 20 yards. And I started raising my crossbow, and the other deer he was with went, and then he took off.
No.
Yeah, it was sad.
Bummer.
Sad, Scott.
So anyway, yeah, that's what's going on.
Well, good. Nice. I don't really have an update. I've been out of town for work, and it sucks. At the end.
You sound a little sickly.
Oh, yeah. So you missed that part. I did a TikTok.
Oh, because I was late.
I did a TikTok about if anyone has ever seen the Banana Bro guy. Banana bread, bro. At work? No, whatever. I did a parody of that but for like homesteading. And so I shot that video, but I had to do 2 takes. And so it was just like a bunch of yelling at the end of the video and threw my voice out. So that's why I sound like crap.
Threw your voice out. That's good.
Stupid. So dumb.
Well,
and it didn't even like, I thought it was funny.
How many views did you get?
It didn't, like less than 300. Not worth it at all.
The things we do for showbiz.
People are like, you sound sick. Are you coming down with something? Like, nah, it's stupider than that.
You should just say yes.
I was yelling at my phone. Anyways, okay. So, Homestead return on investment. Let me share this tweet from Josiah right here. Topic came up in the group chat the other day, and I just want to be clear. This homesteading thing is a financial drain. If I stayed in the suburbs, I'd probably be living a pretty solid debt-free middle-class lifestyle. And then he goes on to say, we did pretty well with sales this year, but it's going to take a slog that we may choose to not make to grow enough to make the initial investment money back. We've learned a lot, grown a lot. It's been good for us and the kids for sure. No financial sense whatsoever. It takes a special kind of stupid to do something like this and stick at it. So, Josiah, do you have more to expand on that, or is that like pretty much it?
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think honestly, different people took it different ways. We didn't initially start this to make money, so this isn't really a surprise. Like, the business came later when we saw that there was an opportunity to make money selling goat milk and eggs and some of these other things that we can sell. So it was more like, can we turn something that we're already doing into a business more than it was, oh, let's just dive in because we're going to make a fortune.
Sure.
So some people were like, oh, you shouldn't be surprised about that. And I'm not surprised that I'm not making money. But we do take it pretty seriously. We set up, we run the numbers to figure out how much we'd have to sell, all that stuff. And we were looking pretty good until we started having a production issue. I think basically the parasites ended up hitting everybody.
No doubt.
And so nobody's producing well. So it was one of those where we kind of gambled that our growth, our scaling up was going to pay off for us. And it didn't, which is farming. Sometimes things don't go the way you plan. But yeah, I mean, other than that, that's pretty much it. Like, it's, I lived 8 miles from my job. When I lived in the city, I could have ridden my bike. I was thinking about getting a bike and riding, and I was a frugal guy then. So I absolutely could have, we lived in a much cheaper house, et cetera, et cetera. It costs a lot, to get into this and to have the equipment and to have the stuff. So I think I could have been happily debt free at this point. Maybe not happy, but debt free. So
Sure.
Happy, that's the key word.
Well, it is. I mean, I didn't love being in the city, but there are some positives. There are times where I wish I was a little bored. And
yeah,
downtime things to fix.
Downtime right? Sounds kind of nice, doesn't it?
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I heard it said once that farmers are the only people in the world who buy it retail and sell it wholesale.
That is true.
That's painful.
In part of what you said, Josiah, you said we've learned a lot, grown a lot, and it's been good for us and the kids. So how has it been good for you? And I think that it's pretty obvious, but like, can you share something specific that you were thinking of when you wrote that?
I mean, for the kids, they get to experience a lot of, just growing up around the animals, learning about death, about life, where the food comes from, what it takes to produce the food. I shot a deer Saturday, and the kids were asking, like, what are we going to do with it? I'm like, well, we're going to make tacos. Like, this deer is tacos. You know, there's 60 pounds of tacos right here, guys. So that's good for the kids. For me, I work a digital job. Even when I was a customs broker, I never saw what I moved. So it's a very hands-off experience. I imported tires, but I never once saw the tires I imported. Actually, it wasn't until I bought some from the same company, which ostensibly I could have imported, I suppose. But like I never saw them, and so for me, the idea of having a hands-on life, you know, where I get to create and I get to build things, sometimes it's horribly hard, you know, or overwhelming. I have many projects to do, but it's also fulfilling in a way that me eking, you know, 10% more efficiency out of the people at work by doing some additional workflow stuff. It just doesn't quite scratch that itch, right? So it's
Right.
good for me and my mental health there. And I lost weight moving up here and working outside. Cool. So
right there you go. You didn't list that.
Yeah,
that's true. I don't like talking
but
about
that wouldn't have gotten the attention that this got.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about the Homestead weight loss.
Homestead weight loss program. If you only ate what you produced, you would starve very quickly.
Pretty much. Yeah. That's a solid point.
I had to butcher a bunch of my older hens, and my 3-year-old, he was like, "Can I watch?" I'm like, "Yes, you can." And so just like he just stood there and like watched me like slit their throats and just started breaking down the birds, and he just like, he really didn't have like that many questions. He's like, "I'm gonna go play trucks." Like, he watched like 2 or 3 of them and was like, "I think I get it."
Got bored with it and could play with trucks. That's
a lot of blood. Yep, it's a lot of blood.
But isn't it funny though? Like you think about it, like you've, for better or worse, you've desensitized your kid to death. You know, on the farm anyway. Yeah, and because I mean, death is inevitable in life, right?
Yeah.
2 things in life that are inevitable: death and taxes. I mean, like, you know, so if you, I don't know, if you get adjusted and acclimated to that at a young age, it bothers you less when you have an animal die on the farm or you see a dead cat on the road or something. I don't know. That's just a passing observation. Anyway, next.
How we deal with death is at least as important as how we deal with life.
Oh yeah.
Star Trek.
Well, and I think the other important thing is that it makes it a physical reality rather than, again, this digital life. You know, some of these kids, you know, killing something on a screen or watching death. You know, you can watch horrible deaths on Twitter, right, or TikTok or whatever. And this is, you know, here's the reality. You know, I just killed this chicken, or I just killed this goat, or here's this goat that's struggling, and you know, I just put it out of its misery. Versus, you know, just this horrible disconnect where you're watching people die on screen, and you know, you don't really feel that. You don't really, especially as a kid. You know, now that I'm a dad, I feel that a lot more than I did as a teen. That's for sure. So,
yeah, one of the rules that I follow on my homestead is that every animal you own, you got to be ready to kill, and that's just common knowledge around here. So. I named the ones that I think are going to live, but even like I had a goose named Sugarfoot who got his insides eaten out by, I think, a cat actually. He got his head to. Yeah, well, I left the gate open one night. Like we tried a new living arrangement, and one of the things you find out running a homestead is that anytime you change an arrangement, you're opening up vulnerabilities. Yeah. It's like if you're running a military base and you decide to change the route at which the freaking tapioca gets delivered. It's like, okay, well, someone put a new bomb on that route, so there he goes. But it's just part of it. Whenever you change something, you know, change is inevitable too, right? Yeah. And with change comes opportunity for malfeasance, and I don't really care. I mean, I walk up to a sheep and with a revolver and shoot it, and then carve it up. And really, it's another chore to me. So you got to have that mental separation. Going,
but you have to get desensitized to some of that, and that's
it was
harder
for
some people.
Yeah, the feeling I had was awkward actually when I was slaughtering my first sheep, because I was like, okay, do I do something first or do you do something first? He was just looking at me. I was like, all right, well, I'll just do it. It's
How do
fine.
we start this exchange?
Exactly. It was like, and I missed, and I was like, where'd the bullet go? And then it started bleeding out of his nose. So then I gave my the wife I gave the gun over to my wife because she's done it before. I was like, just finish this off. We'll call some mulligan. I'll try again next time. Yeah, I'll get a gold star for
So I know I do a lot of goat sales. Not butchered. Usually it's someone job it up with a Jeep or BMW, and they don't let it screaming on the way home. So they'll lay down some trash bags, and then you give them the goat. But I had recently an owl caused me a lot of problems with some chicks. First time,
careful what you say on the.
I did the correct thing. I did the nice thing, and I let the damn
thing
thing
go. Antifreeze, Grant style.
And it came back, and it got like 4 more the next night. And I was like, I regret making that decision, because it got in the coop again. Like it got inside. So before I had the door open, because they just coming in and out, roosting up at night. And the second time it flew in through just a small hole. And then he got stuck. So I'm holding an owl in my hand. I'm like, well, I just threw him out, let him go, flew away. And then he sat in a tree and just like watched. So I'm like, well, I ended up leaving their carcasses, on the ground in front of the coop, and it ate them that night. So it didn't try to get back in. But stuff like that just happens. That's what you have to deal with. Yeah, for me, I don't look at it as I lost a bird. I lost money. I lost the investment of the cost of those birds, the time, and the feed on those birds.
Yeah, there's a way I think about that stuff is that loss is inevitable unless you are very risk averse. So I used to have a good old fights with really organic style homesteaders because I'm very risk averse. So I will be on a deworming schedule like crazy. Every 2 months, every 6 months, whatever. I think vaccines going in. I had one person ask me like, why are you doing that, or why are you doing the jab for the sheep? I was like, they're not your sheep. Go mind your own business. I don't want any dead sheep. I had a bunch of miscarriages last year, and I would like to have living lambs. That's how you multiply your flock. I don't care if I got to go out there and wave a magic wand or whatever. It's like you got to have your own risk assessment. So I've talked to people about their homesteads, and their risk assessment was just all over the place. They would prepare for everything and nothing at the same time. I was like, you got to sit there and calculate what risks are you willing to take. So for me, I'm doing this kind of as a learning experience, but also like trying to just grow things up. So I tend to have coops where I'll try something new, and then coops where I have like a tried and true way of doing things. I got 3 different coops. I have one that's doing foraging right now, so I don't feed them actively, and they have a lot of leeway to go out. I kind of don't like those chickens, so I'm a little disappointed that no dogs have tried to eat them. Such jerks. Or if they told me barred rocks would be friendly, I do not like them. I now do Orpingtons. They're great. They just walk right up to you and just pick them up like a dodo bird. But I'm very risk averse to the chickens I like. But yeah, loss is inevitable, and nobody tells you that, and everybody pretends it doesn't exist, or like they try to ignore it. It's like when you're talking to a lady of the night, they'll always tell you that they made a ton of money. They'll always tell you that things are going great, because if they told you the truth, they would feel ashamed of it. So you talk to these homesteaders, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing great." I was like, "All right." So I lost money whenever I stopped planning for stuff. Anytime I was like, "Oh, I'll be fine." Nah. Anytime you think of yourself, "I'll be fine," it's not going to be fine. So whenever I stick to a budget, though, it's nice and strict. Like I have separate bank accounts where I keep. This is my homestead investment money. This is my fund money. This is my deep savings money. I should have my mortgage paid off in 4 years, in which case I can go work at the slaughterhouse at Purdue down the road and still like keep my lifestyle. In which case I can be hyper risk, like prone. I could just go nuts after that because I'll just have all the money in the world, still working as an engineer. But no, nobody. I don't like the lack of transparency the homestead community has. Everyone's talking about how great stuff is. And no, it can if you let it go, if you get enthusiastic, you will have a money drain. So I was like reading that, and I was like having a mix of emotions of like, yeah, you can plan really well. And then I was like, you know what? I've actually been in this situation where I've been like 10 grand in the hole, I'm like, well, son of a gun, how'd that happen? I was like, oh yeah. And I'm looking at a greenhouse, and I'm like, oh, that's where that went. Why do I have a greenhouse?
Well, and that's the thing though. Like, if for the people that jump in head first, it's like starting a business. Really, I mean, it really is starting a business. You can't just jump in and sink thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into it unless you have that kind of disposable income to sink into it. I mean, like, step into it. Start very small. Keep your job. That's, to me, that makes the most sense. And yeah, is it profitable at some point? Hopefully. But we don't live on a 20-acre homestead. I mean, we live in suburban America. We grow as much of our food as we can in the backyard. And we've got plans to get to bigger, larger plots of land and so on and so forth. But for us, it's step by step. Every year, expand what you're doing just a little bit. And we're not doing it for financial reasons. So I'm okay not making money on it. But not everybody has that mentality.
Yeah, this conversation is on the heels of I was listening to an interview with a millionaire, and he was describing his relationship to money. And money is to him as a tool to get the lifestyle. And I sort of kicked back a little bit and thought, man, I've got this great life out here. While I was talking with my buddy at the office, he's starting to pick up a little bit of growing a little bit of this, growing a little bit of that. I said to him, man, I don't care if times never get worse. It's just a nice way to live. I feel so rich while not having a lot of zeros in the bank account. And I'm okay with that because it's just rich in experience, rich in the little bit of food that we are getting, and rich in, just looking around and just loving the peace out here and thinking about planning ahead and what the directions I'd like to go. And it's just a beautiful way to live. So I just feel very, very wealthy already.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, homesteading is a mix of three different things. It's a home life, business, and a hobby. And if you try to, like all men's hobbies, it gets really expensive really fast if you let it be. Now, if you're running it like a business, doing it properly, like I'll tell you that it's about $500 for every 8-foot by 8-foot chicken coop with a capacity of 36 chickens. It's about $75 for every 8-foot by 4-foot raised bed, which can yield about 50 pounds of potatoes twice a season. If I have chickens, they eat about 1 ounce of feed every day with an egg laying rate of 0.7 per day on average, which I think comes out to about $1.40 per dozen eggs. So therefore, it does make sense to use the feed to make the eggs. But it's like this stuff of like really intense. That's not actually that intense. It's just really pedantic math. It's kind of what it takes, because there's a lot of stuff I've talked myself out of, and you have to do that. You have to talk yourself out of stuff, and you have to put an ROI. You have to put on you basically have to, if I was to say so derogatorily, be a man and plan. Because if you're not planning, then you're just being a boy. And some of us are boys. Some of us like to buy cars, and whatever it is we do. I want to buy a bunch of silencers this year, and that's I'm like, I already budgeted for that. That's gonna take pretty much my entire year.
Whisper pickles.
Say what? Yeah, exactly.
Whisper pickles.
Yeah, the waiting list is a long time. So,
but you can't treat it like a hobby at all, and you have to. Jeremy was saying you got to start slow, and the stuff that actually makes money is kind of rough. I actually think you make more money selling stuff to other homesteaders. Like for me, we're going to do hatchling chickens, like day olds.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like instead of, going and buying a pick and shovel to go dig for gold, sell the picks and shovels.
Yeah, we hatched some chicks, and then the ones we didn't want, we sold. So but comparing it to the suburb isn't really the case, because I've got 10 acres, a 1980s built house, and a barn that is cheaper than my friend's half of a duplex in town. So, and the realtor said, if you guys were on the other side of the county line, your house would cost $100K more. So and it's gone up a lot, but theirs did too. So,
Sounds
COVID,
like you're on the right side.
yeah, I'm on the right side. Yeah. And there's no bird building permits over here either. So that's good. So, but COVID, never went back in the office, go out, water the garden at lunch, yell at the sky and and stuff, and de-stress. So it's good.
It's good.
Go down and pick up chestnuts from a tree that somebody abandoned down at the elementary school, put them in a bucket of sand, and use some and sell the rest.
So it's nice to put a financial value, like a monetary value on these things, but what about, so like for those of us that aren't autistic and play with numbers all day, like, what about this? Like, is anybody else just doing this for the skills and the know-how and just because they like it?
I didn't say anything about the numbers. I mean, basically,
no, I'm pointing at Alex specifically. Alex, the autist.
No, the thing about the numbers is just keeping it under control. But oh man, this is the most luxury lifestyle I've ever heard of. Right. So I was watching The Menu the other night with my wife. You guys ever seen that movie, The Menu? It's great.
No.
It's great. It's basically about a chef that has a world famous chef that's kind of had it. And he's going through a bit of a mental breakdown, and he has an island where he has this really high scale, like $1,200 a plate restaurant where all these hoity-toity people go to. And on this island, you can see that he's smoking meat in the Nordic fashion. He has goats that are being milked right on site. And I started thinking about this, like most world famous, like world class chefs would kill to have the kind of ingredients that we just have all the time. So this is like the biggest luxury lifestyle there is. It takes a little bit of sweat equity, but I mean, I think it took me like an hour to lay 300 feet of fence by hand. It's not that hard. Put enough fence around, you got sheep or goats, and then boom, you've got milk. I think me and my wife spend less than an hour a day working on this place. So the math is just there to then like allow me to enjoy this place fully, because it is a luxury lifestyle. And I'm not gonna say like homesteading. If you want to have a homesteading for like a frugal lifestyle, I've got a neighbor a few doors down the other direction who lived in a tent when I first moved here, and he was selling firewood. And now he lives in a single wide, and he's living rich. He's out there with his kids. I wave at him when I pass by on my motorcycle. That's thrifty living. Okay. Yeah. But if you want to like have suburban style living, like I could definitely see why this would seem like a money sink, is because we're used to a lot of luxuries. We're used to a lot of stuff. I have espressos every day. I have an espresso machine. I actually bought 60 kilograms of green bean coffee to save money and give it to my family. And I roast my own coffee. So now I have fresh roasted coffee every week. It's nuts. Yeah, it's the sky's the limit. This actually, I came out here because I was afraid of supply chain, and now I'm staying out here because the food is so good. I make it all myself. So
for me, it's even mental health.
Yeah,
I mean, like I sit here and I work all day, and there was a couple weeks ago I was at my breaking limit, and I work from home, so I'd go outside and I'd let the dog outside in the backyard, let the chickens out, let them free range around for the afternoon. And, I went out during lunch at mid-afternoon, like I'm just at a breaking point. I'm just thinking, I'm ready to be done with this. And just like computer work and just live out in the woods, 50 acres away from everyone. I don't care if I have to eat what I grow. I don't care if it's a hard life, but you can just decompress. Like, I don't know, like just the tightness in your chest from the stress of life. So yeah, is it for the financial reasons? For some people, no. It's for mental health.
It's for the lifestyle. I mean, because it is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's more. I mean, I know Christopher kind of touched on this a little bit. It's when you live it. It's you're living in a spot where you can pretty much, once you build to the point, once the fence is fenced, once the pastures have been reclaimed and the trees have been pushed back to where they need to be, all the heavy lifting is kind of done. Then you have to maintain feed, rotate your pastures. You have to make sure, everything. You can have a closed system, but you build that lifestyle. So when the current modern lifestyle that we have is gone, you really won't be phased. Can you put a price on that when, our current, society ain't what it is right now? And you're, the only farm left running on your corner of the county that can hopefully sustain himself through permaculture practices.
Yep. Yeah, I had a breakfast burrito the other day at a restaurant, and I was like, almost couldn't finish it because it was gross by comparison to the eggs I grow at home.
Spoiled.
I've not eaten eggs off my property in 2 years. Actually, that's a good point. Everyone was complaining about egg prices. I was willfully, as a flex, just ignorant of what egg prices were the last few
I had
years.
to buy eggs for the first time last year in several years when, because my chickens have hit about that 2.5, 3-year-old, and they've kind of started to.
Yeah.
But like I've let them reproduce, and I still keep eggs. But there was one point last year I'm like, we need eggs, you freeloaders.
Yeah,
I did make a TikTok. It was a complete. What'd you say? You can eat them, yeah.
You can eat them, yeah.
So I had gone out there. I was making a TikTok.
It's so bony.
I
you gotta fatten them up first.
Made a TikTok video of me giving them a pep talk about, hey, I need y'all to pull your weight. I need you to pull your weight, lay some eggs while I'm sitting there eating some chicken tenders. And it was just for a funny TikTok video. And I swear to you, within 3 days, they were laying eggs again. Oh. It was purely a timing situation.
They got TikTok too?
Huh? Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah, well, I told you, hey, I ran Wi-Fi out to the coop. I mean,
yeah, well, there you go. They're pulling out their phones and looking at it.
That's right.
We were talking about we're sort of justifying the lifestyle as being a net negative in cost, and I think there's plenty of justification. It's not like we're making up reasons. Yet I've seen people who can be fully profitable, successful, and get all the lifestyle. Like what comes to mind, I saw Jack Spirko the other day talking about his ducks, where he was selling them for $8-10 a pound or a dozen. Then another duck farmer, instead of selling the eggs as for eating, he sells fertilized eggs, and he sells those for $36 a dozen. Or you got,
I got peekins. I got to get in that.
Yeah, you ought to. And
your eyes just like big.
Well, these fat sons of guns are all eating all my food. These guys eat way more than chickens.
Yeah, still fertilized eggs. I could show you the video. Or like you got Mark Shepard, who's got
that's a specialized.
But what I always do when somebody's selling, I'm selling eggs.
Steals them from the park.
$4 a dozen. Hey, when someone's selling eggs $4 a dozen, have they been exposed to a rooster? Because some people don't eat eggs that have been exposed to a rooster. And I was like, when I'm looking to fill up 8 dozen eggs in my incubators, I'll ask that question because I'm not going to pay $20 for the same dozen of eggs you're selling for $4. You know what I mean? I ain't a chump.
You got to market them, man. You got to market them as like high T eggs. Okay, these are high testosterone eggs, ready to go for your bodybuilding needs.
But when I'm trying to fill the incubators, I'll just hop on and see who's selling eggs. And this same person who's selling them for $4, when I tell them I'm going to hatch them, the lady increased the price on me. So, I'll sell you them for. I'm like, I'm good. I just won't buy any from you. It's like, you told me the price was $4 a dozen, and then she increased it to like $12 a dozen. Once I told her I was going to take the same eggs and incubate them.
She knows what's up.
So you got to get yourself a wife who's a cutthroat business bee, right there. That's what it helps. You got to be a nice guy that everybody trusts. Firm handshake. Yeah. Your wife's over there jacking prices up.
Yeah.
Once she finds out what they're doing.
No, yeah. I just said never mind, and then I ended up asking a friend of mine, and she just gave me enough eggs to fill up my incubators. So
I've got a question for Josiah, actually, if that's all right.
Yeah.
How many years have you been on your homestead?
6 years.
Oh, 6 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was about to say, if it was like your second or third year, I'd say the expenses usually slow down. But do you still see like a lot of expenses and stuff? Like what do you?
It's not crazy in that way necessarily. And it wasn't just homesteading. It was like living out here. There's costs to it, so it's not just like I live
driving
in the middle of nowhere. So gas costs. Like we're an hour away from people. So I mean, there's a cost in that. So it's not just the homesteading.
Your internet's like $300 a month for Starlink and all that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do have to pay the money for Starlink. So there's costs there. I have to have 4-wheel drive. I have a big family. I got to get out, in the mud.
That 1-ton van needs a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, when you got 8 people in the family, you got to drive something big.
Dang.
I had how many cylinders did I have? They all have V10s. So I mean, it's a problem. It's some of that, some of that's my choice. There was no infrastructure for animals other than a really old barn. And so we've been putting in fence and we dabble with electric, and then we went back to permanent. And so just some learning curves there. We have goats, and so they're a pain with fencing sometimes.
Yeah, they are very much Houdinis.
So anyway, some of that stuff, it's scaling up. We went from I've got 26 does. And actually, well, I guess now I've got more like 30, 32, 33 since we had some drop. So like I've been expanding a lot there. Pasture hasn't come along to the point where I can get hay off of it. Nobody wants to come hay my crappy field. So I'm buying hay, and we had a drought this year, and that meant hay went crazy. So stuff like that, where it's like, as we scaled up, hoping that the goats were going to pay for themselves entirely, that didn't happen.
Until
it's
you're running
not
those numbers like you're running now, they just don't pay for themselves like that.
What was that? I missed the question. Sorry.
Sorry for interrupting. I've grown up with goats, born with them in our pasture. I've ended up kind of taking over them since Dad got out. But unless you're running numbers like 20 to 30, you're not going to break even, especially if you're having hard times with weather and hay and pasture.
Yeah, I mean that was our thing. Like we need, again, I have 5 kids and another one on the way. When they're drinking a gallon of milk a day, that eats into the profits real fast. So stuff like that where, I've got to scale up these goat numbers to get to the point where I can get consistent production. Because ultimately it's about, being able to have milk consistently for basically subscribers. I mean, because that's what we had. We had people that were paying, good money.
So you do dairy goats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a milking machine, I'm assuming?
No.
How many does?
It's really slow.
Feel like it would take all day to milk whatever.
Well, so my wife's really, really fast at it. I'm not quite as fast as she is, but my wife's pretty fast at it. So
you have to be careful with milking machines, is because if you don't have it specifically tuned, it changes the taste of the goat's milk. Specifically with goat's milk, it's more fragile than cow's milk. For a lady who does dairy in our area, that's why she doesn't use it, and she may just be giving me her personal account from it, but that's what she has told me.
Alex, are you doing a drinking game based on what Grant says?
Grant's
not talking
Every time
he talks about goats, you take a shot.
Every time we talk about goats. Listen,
and
I was
totes.
going to make some jokes in there, but I decided to keep
man.
this a clean one.
No, every time Grant says
We
something, you
should
take a
it's
shot.
drinking game. Anytime Grant says goats or totes, everybody takes the
Oh,
joke.
toast,
goats.
yeah.
The goats and totes drinking game.
Yeah, the scalability problem is real, and you will always get like half of what you think you're going to get. That's kind of how it goes.
Well, and especially when you get burned on the way. Like, and that was, it was kind of an
Mhm.
expectation. Like, until you have the numbers to pay for themselves and you figure that out. And so we knew that was a problem. I mean, we knew that getting to this point maybe it doesn't pay for itself, and maybe we're just selling does and getting back to just our needs. Maybe it does, but I can subsidize it long enough to figure that out and treat it like a business. Small businesses fail. It wouldn't be the first small business that my wife and I have failed to make work. And ultimately it was, how do we make this little bit of land pay for itself? And does it need to, if we can? I'd love to give my kids, an income that they could use if they wanted to. Hey, you can take over milking goats and sell the milk and make money. And I'll just keep working my digital job. So yeah, it wasn't like it was a massive surprise to me, but I run into a lot of people that are just shocked when they try homesteading or they try making money on stuff. I always
remind them that like 80% of homesteaders historically died.
Yeah,
or something like that. I mean, that's
you don't have to. I mean, you just. You don't have to die. You just go back to the city, which is like a so. But people think that our ancestors, the American ancestors, all came out here and it was like, yeah, we forged it. It was great. Manifest destiny and all that stuff. But
yeah.
No, it was very few made it. Like you go out to the Midwest and there's like 5 last names in the entire state. It's like, yeah, it's because it's the 5 families that survived it. These guys couldn't find water. These guys got hit by a drought. These ones got shaking goat sickness or some other thing no one ever heard of. I had a ram that died because he kept fighting me when I was trying to deworm him. So I finally just gave up, and he died a horrible death just to worms out of nowhere. Yeah, I had him wriggling out of his orifices and everything. It was very unpleasant. So, yeah, it was bad. That's happened, but that's what they do. Farm animals, domesticated animals, they're not wild. They don't know how to live anymore. They're maladapted. You have to keep an eye on them. They're the dumbest creatures you'll ever meet. All of them are dumb. None of them can live on their own without your constant intervention, which is why God invented fencing. But it's if you try to scale up real fast, man, I tell you, I think I said this once on Twitter like a long time ago, is if you ever want to destroy your marriage, get a homestead. Because if you got a bad marriage, it's going to make it way worse because you're going to fight. If you're fighting over money before, you're going to fight over a lot more now. So that's one of the lessons I learned, is that exactly what Jeremy said. I think a lot of homesteaders today learn it the hard way. I wish there was a way to learn it the easier way. Maybe this podcast will help somebody out there. Just little bits put together. Take whatever money, like. So my wife gave me a suggestion. Every two bits of money that you take home. Every 3 bits of money you take home, 2 of it goes into savings, 1 of it goes to the farm. So you don't spend any more than 1/3 of the money that you are able to save. So that means for me, it's a certain amount of money. It goes to the farm budget, and I have to sit and wait like a kid at Christmas, waiting for Christmas, for when I can buy that new Energizer for the electric fence, but no faster than that, because that's how I got into credit card trouble. Paid it all off. It happens to a lot of people. I wish.
Well, that was part of the impetus. I mean, like you said earlier, like if homesteaders were a little more open about some of the pitfalls, you get the cottage core, Instagram reels where it looks so nice, and then the reality is, some of it sucks, some of it's hard. Like my homestead is not picturesque. Okay, the previous owner left a bunch of crap everywhere. That crap is still there. I've got it into a pile now, but it's still here.
It's a pile of crap.
It's expensive. Well, it's expensive to get rid of. It's $300 a dumpster. I mean,
Holy crap.
So anyway, so ultimately that was part of what this is about, though, is being open about it's hard.
Fire is
really
free,
hard.
right?
What?
Fire is free, right?
Oh, the previous owner tried that. That's why I have metal literally all over my property.
Now it's a pile of black shit. So black and shit. Well, it's a good thing that you did that, Josiah, because at first, Josiah, it's easy to dunk on that tweet or something like, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. Then I'm like looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I did all those things wrong too. And nobody really and everyone got real panicked.
Like an ancestral, like a generational, and there's a huge gap because I grew up on a little bit of property, but we didn't raise livestock. So I mean, the idea getting into livestock was new.
And any generational knowledge that was before the supply chain pandemic, is now so moot. It's so moot. oh, you should buy a truck. I don't own a truck. I never bought a truck. A truck to me would have been like a $30,000 money pit. So I still have a Honda Fit hatchback subcompact, and I could put like 22 by 4s in that son of a gun and band strap it, and that's how I get there. And I get some funny looks and hollers at Lowe's, and that's okay. I don't have to pay like $600 a month for a freaking truck, you know.
Right.
And
I mean, I'm an engineer.
I took square bales on the back of the Chevy Cobalt.
I can make it fit. I'm an engineer.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, just ram it, and enough force. Liberal application of force, sometimes leverage. Yeah, I did break a windshield once trying something stupid. So don't ever try to push the windshield. That's dumb.
You put it on the dashboard, didn't you?
I did. It was PVC pipe. I thought it could flex a little bit. Turns out it could flex a lot, actually. But the windshield did not. Yeah, that's right. That's okay. That's okay. That's $400. Just doing
expensive PVC.
Well, okay. Well, here's the thing: is these guys who do the picturesque cottage life stuff, like. There's no legal disclaimer that forces them to also put the credit card bill next to it, their balance, because that's what they should freaking have. And all this stuff, like people work themselves into massive debt to get the gram, to get the Instagram. You see it with a lot of ladies, lady influencers.
Especially the grid, the ones that are off grid.
Oh yeah.
Off-grid
Those
grifters.
are super spendy.
Yeah, they don't tell you that they can only run the washer once every 10 days when they have a surplus of energy, right?
Or they're secretly hooked up to the grid.
Oh yeah. That's
That's
the thing around here is everybody has solar, but they're all hooked up to the grid and they're just miners for the electric company. You ask them if they have any batteries and they go, "What?
You don't need them. I got solar."
Yeah, I got solar. Yeah, exactly. It's completely ridiculous.
That's kind of why I stopped producing a lot of Homestead content. It's because I cannot possibly shout above. You need a group like this, like a bunch of guys who are allied together to say something that's true, to get over the noise of these these off-grid people. You'd almost get nailed to the cross for questioning any of this stuff.
I can't even get on Instagram because there's too many OnlyFans girls who are.
I got to get onto Instagram.
No, they're like all you're like homesteading. This homesteading girl is doing.
Here's my milk that I made, and here's also my boobs. Yeah, that stuff. Yeah, trad wives is just I mean, whatever.
Subscribe for more.
Kids. I know. Yeah, it's the oldest profession. Apparently, it's slightly older than farming.
And he takes another shot. It's the drinking.
That's the reason why we had to farm. It was like I can't even afford to move around. I'm just in the hole with this lady here.
Oh man.
I had something to say. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, I was sorry about that.
I'm gonna pay for my wife's horses whether we board them in town or whether we live out here. So either way,
you could identify as a Mongolian and just eat it.
Oh my goodness!
It's got a lot of meat. You have to get a second freezer, third freezer.
Yeah, except that they're dewormed and nasty. So
that means you get to be dewormed.
Ivermectin.
Yeah.
See?
There you go.
Horse
fortified meat.
Yeah, you got your horse meat, and your dipping sauce is ivermectin.
Oh boy!
Oh,
people talk about traditional.
horsey sauce.
People talk about traditional, and then I show them what people used to eat, like what they really used to eat. And Matt, you're in Louisiana right now, so you could probably go down and find some. Scrapple's more of a northern thing, but you could probably find chitlins and other stuff like that, which is just the leftovers. And since you've worked on a homestead, you could probably identify a lot of that stuff, which makes it a lot more difficult to eat it.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they deep fry everything down here, so it all tastes the same.
Yeah, that's like I used to work at a big egg meat company, and out at the Western Kansas slaughterhouse. They're like taking the kidneys and all the offal and setting it aside. And one of the Hispanic guys says, "Hey, we pay a lot of money for that over at the carniceria." So they started selling it, and it's their biggest margin.
Holy crap!
It's all free.
oxtail and kidney and tripe.
Huh.
They sell more of that and have a bigger margin than they do on any other meat.
There's a lumber mill. They take 2x6s and make fancier 2x6s with it, like make it tongue and grooved and try to do like this fake like log siding stuff and whatever. Well, they bale up all their sawdust and sell it.
There you
The
go.
biggest profit margin.
Yeah.
It's waste.
The waste.
Yeah.
It's waste. All right, let's wrap up on something. Who's got something to say? Make it smart. He's just gonna take a shot, just like that's
As
it.
smart as it needs to be. man.
Fortifying himself for something smart. Right.
20,
Getting the courage
20
to say
lemon,
something good.
20 lemon rinds and about a handle 1.75 liters of Everclear in the closet in some jars for 3 days, and then cut down with a pound of sugar. And then you have some limoncello. That's the smartest thing I got.
That sounds great. That's a little.
You need
Stay
to
to the end to find a secret.
You need to
recipe
share
for
that
limoncello.
recipe in the chat.
All right.
Nice. All right.
I would say if you're going to do the homesteading thing, know what you're doing it for. Know why you're doing it.
have a reason or a purpose.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And don't get wrapped around the axle trying to make it whatever delusion you had to start with.
That's true. Make it what you like. Go back to that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Be authentic. and do
Be
that.
positive. Positive
Nice.
solutions.
I don't know what's happening. Grant's giggling.
The farm engineer said, "Be autistic."
When you meet some of these farmers, you got to wonder, right? Like maybe that's how they survived, right?
Probably true. I feel like there's a name in there somewhere. Autistic something. We'll workshop it a little bit. All right, let's go around. Christopher, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm working on Secure Coop, and that is a coop door opener with phone notifications. It's currently in beta testing, and get on the mailing list. There's a coupon below to that you can use for the pre-sale as well. The mailing list has a coupon and a free ebook. It's going to be a device that notifies your phone when the coop opens, closes, has issues, and then eventually I'm going to be moving into more of a backyard, anything in the backyard space. So call it Secure Farm. So we're going to cover all those sorts of things and give you notifications on your phone. So just get on the mailing list for the updates, and I should be out, I'm thinking early next year. So
Nice. Thank you. Grant.
I'm busier with bush hogging and cutting trees down than I am with toads these days. So I'll be posting videos of a lot of before and afters of what we're doing to reclaim the farm.
You posting that
Photos,
on TikTok and Instagram?
Yeah, I'm going to.
You finally gonna start posting again.
Yeah, I've got about
being
4,
called out.
5
Man.
minute videos.
I call him out all the time because he doesn't post. Of course, I don't post that much these days anymore. I haven't anyway.
I'll go through a spurt where it's just like spontaneous, me doing something stupid in the yard. But that's it.
That works. Alex. Do a thing. Say something.
I don't know. I'm on a content hiatus for the moment while I just get ready for the winter. Chopping a lot of wood, burning a lot of it to keep warm.
There's a TikTok for that.
I suppose I could make a TikTok account. I suppose the Chinese can't do anything too terribly bad to me once they find out I'm burning wood. But yeah,
they know everything about you already anyway.
I'm pretty much the farm engineer everywhere. I post very rarely. I am getting ready to start ramping up again, but don't hold your breath. I'll post something when I post something. Do subscribe and put the notification on. I will not spam you.
You know what that means is that the farm engineer is exclusively on the Farm Hop Life men's forum. That's the only place you can find him. So if you want to see him get drunk and spout words of wisdom, here's the place.
The
subscribe.
Only place.
Hit subscribe. Thank you, Josiah.
Yeah, I post all sorts of random stuff on Twitter, whether it's my dog chasing Sasquatches or
Sasquatches.
Or just fatherhood and faith, that kind of stuff. And I post all the time because I'm digital life. I can sit there and post randomly on Twitter. So there's a bunch of content on there. You can find all sorts of stuff.
It's almost all good.
Almost all good.
I got some duds here and there, but
Everyone has a bad take on something. I just need to find out what Josiah's is.
I've got bad takes. I just don't post them on Twitter.
Damn. All right. Thanks. Where's Jeremy?
I'm right here.
I deleted you. There you are.
No, it's not. I don't blame you. Chickens, gardening stuff, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I don't post that much these days. I've just been too busy. Like this is my busy time of year for work.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's.
I didn't know if you were getting burnout on content.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like it's burnout in life, maybe. Just because I've got too much going on.
With your dad.
On life.
I'm not even that. Just in general. I mean, just. So yeah, I mean, this is our busy season at work, and so it's me trying to balance all this. Once I get through probably November, I'll pick back up some more.
Nice. Good.
Yeah, I'm out there.
Thanks. I'm out there. Scott.
I'm Scott Miller, Thriving the Future podcast, thrivingthefuture.com, and at Thriving the Fute on Twitter. So last 2 weeks I had Grant on. We were talking about propagating your own plants and then turning it into a side hustle with your extras. This week, Christopher's on. We're talking about what you would do if we had World War II style rationing. So that's
nice.
Thriving
That's
the Future.
Gas is the big one.
Yeah, and you can listen on your fave podcast app and also thrivingthefuture.com.
Nice. Thanks.
Thank you.
And I'm Matt DeRocher from HumpLife.com, traveling host of family. I do a podcast of interviews, This Men's Forum, famous farmers, which I need one for next week. I don't know who it's going to be yet. And occasional farm tours. So check us out. And thanks for joining, everybody. And thanks for listening.
Bye.
Thank
See
you.
later.
Take care.
Hang out if you guys want to.